What's up? Welcome back to the Log Dog DJ YouTube channel. Today we are going to be answering actually some questions, and um, these questions are questions that I get asked a lot. Um, so these are just questions that come up over and over again that I just want to answer all of them in just um, one video. Before we start out the video, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I appreciate it so much because that's what keeps me really going every day. That's the reason why I do all this. So, with that out of the way, let's get started on to the top 5 questions everybody loves to ask to Log Dog DJ. First of all, the track that you just heard is my newest track, True Glory. It's on my SoundCloud at LogDogDJ, so be sure to check that out. I'm super excited. I think it sounds really good. But anyway, let's get started with the first question. It all started very back when I was a little Log Dog DJ. I was very tiny, and I was about 6. And the first time it really happened was when I was with my friends, and we were like playing outside, and I had just gotten my first iPod when that was still a thing back then. And basically, me and my friends, we were all like 6 or 7, and we would all hang out. And then I basically convinced my mom to get a set of speakers for me because I wanted to enjoy this new music medium that I had. So I got my speakers and I was showing it off, and then after that, after everyone was like, "Oh, this is so cool," then we started taking turns being the DJ, even though we were just using an iPod. That's the first time when I think the word DJ actually went into my head. Fast forward, I actually wanted to become a DJ because I'd been to school parties and get-togethers where there was a DJ involved, and the thing that always caught my eye was just the fact that there was one person who has so much control over what the dance floor is like, what the people that are dancing, what they listen to, what they dance to, and it was just that kind of control that just seemed really cool. Like, when you're a DJ, you are literally the king of the dance floor. You literally control it, and you can either make the dance floor be the best place on earth where everyone wants to be, or I've felt this many times, you can make the dance floor the worst place where nobody really wants to be. There is a lot of responsibility involved, but that's what makes DJing so fun, is you never know what you're really gonna get. The name and the logo are actually a very interesting story that didn't start too far back. This is obviously the logo, as you can see here, but it goes way farther than that. Sophomore year of high school, I was walking around, and one of my friends simply liked to call me Log Dog. So I just walked on and shook it off, and that kept happening, and I was like, huh. So fast forward to last January or February when I got my first set of decks. I was thinking of how to DJ, but I was also thinking of a name that I could give myself. The first name that we had that I came up with wasn't actually Log Dog DJ. The first name that we came up with was actually Will the Thrill, because that was one of my stage names that I picked during a show that I was drumming for, that I was playing drum set for, and I just really liked the ring of that. Then after that, it didn't sound the best. It just sounded kind of unofficial, unoriginal. Just Will the Thrill. Just sounded kind of amateur. So anyway, we went back to the drawing board and we looked for more logo names or brand names that we could choose, and we started thinking, and then Log Dog came back, and we were like, Log Dog. And we loved this so much because for those people who don't know, Log Dog actually has a lot to do with my life. First of all, Log actually comes from my last name, which is Logsdon, Logsdon. Dog, I love dogs. I have a dog. I've had a great history with dogs. I've had two in my current life. I don't know what it is about them. They just always are there for you. And so, dog, I just, I always loved it. And I just, so Log Dog, they rhymed, they sounded well, and then put DJ on the end, we got our name. Now, the logo is actually a different story. With the logo that I chose, well, this is it, but this isn't actually the first logo that we had. We went through lots of different creative processes. There was one day about 3 months ago when we were trying to recreate it because we weren't happy with it. We wanted to create a logo that was original. We didn't want to use any font. We didn't want to use something that was already created. We wanted to create something ourselves. So that's what we did. This logo I created on Photoshop. So if you go look up on the internet Log Dog DJ font or anything, this font, you will not find it. You can't find it. You can find fonts related to this, but you cannot find this exact font. It doesn't exist because this is the one we created, and it's very personal, and I love that we created it ourselves, and it just looks really, really good. The Newmark, a lot of people ask me about that. What is Newmark? Why do you have Newmark there? That's not part of your name. Well, Newmark is actually the current supplier that we have, and basically Newmark is basically the producer of our current DJ controller that we are using during that time. So if this was Pioneer, I would take Newmark away and put Pioneer on there. Not because I'm sponsored, I wish I was, I would really appreciate that, but just because I want to give Newmark lots and lots of thanks for just creating all this great gear that helps me do what I love to do, which is DJ. So this is basically just kind of a shout out to the people who are creating the controllers that I use, and I love them for it. So thank you, Newmark. The fans that I have are very important in the whole Log Dog story because they are the reason that I stay up late and work on mixes. I go downstairs and work on my mixing skills or beat matching. They are the reason that I do what I do. So if you're a fan, thank you. It really does help a lot, and it really does motivate me to just wake up every day and know that I am Log Dog DJ. The cool thing is nobody can take that away from me. I am a DJ. This is my logo. This is my laptop. This is my controller, my speaker. All my stuff is down here. Like, I have everything I need. The fans are always there, just whether it be on Instagram, liking my posts, viewing my stories, anything that just shows that the fans care is just, it means so much to me, and it's the reason why I love DJing so much. It's because the fans are so supportive. Everybody's always waiting for the next track. Everyone's always so excited when I, for example, bring in the controller and the speakers and stuff, or they're so excited when I create a new mix track or a new original Log Dog track. They're always so excited, and it's great because that's really what I love about doing all of this. It's great. I love it. I make my tracks in a very unique way. So the way I make my tracks is from the very beginning, getting an idea. This might surprise you, but getting an idea is surprisingly difficult. I want to stay very original. When you're sometimes using already pre-recorded music, it can be hard. And then when you want to make your own music, like in music production, you have to be original, but you also want to still be inspired by other music that you hear. This is what makes it so difficult because when I hear a song and I go home and I start making it, usually what happens when I make the track is usually it comes out sounding just like what I got it from. And that's not good. What I usually try to end up doing is I try to use little bits and pieces of the track and then I change those bits and pieces so I come up with an entirely new track, but it still has that flavor which the audience will recognize and the audience will love and they'll be able to dance to. As for software, we use a mix between Ableton and GarageBand, surprisingly, because Ableton is a very powerful software, but believe it or not, I grew up learning how to do everything not on even a real mixer at all. I learned it all on GarageBand and I learned everything about music production from GarageBand. Nobody taught me how to do anything that I do. I literally did it all by myself. This is something that I took under my sleeve and I was like, I want to DJ. I couldn't ask anybody for help because nobody that I currently knew that was readily available knew how to DJ. I had to teach all of this to myself. I had to learn about beat matching, scratching, mixing, producing, music production, logo design. I had to learn all of it myself. There was no one who could help me because I didn't know anybody who knew how to do this. So I had to just learn myself and experiment. And when I really started getting serious and the logo got created and people started getting excited, then I realized, you know what? I'm ready to take on the challenge. And for like a month, I literally just learned about the entire GarageBand software, learned the entire Ableton software, I learned how to do everything. And then when I started getting creative, I just tried out different things. I tried out what I liked, what I didn't like, and that's what happens to this day. It's mostly just experimenting, but the first step is getting an idea, and that's surprisingly difficult, and that's what takes so long, and that's why it takes so long to make one track. The truth is, though, I usually try to come out with a new track every 1 to 2 days, which is probably not the smartest idea considering, school and sleep and stuff, but it's so worth it because when you walk into school and everybody's like, Log Dog DJ, oh, your track is sick, and everybody's talking about it, it reminds you, just like our fans question, the fans remind you why you do it and why it's something you love to do and why it's something you want to do. The truth is, it's kind of hard to answer this one because it's just such a broad question, but I'll do my best. Day in the life. The first thing I do is I look at Instagram. Instagram is my main social media platform. Anything that you want that's new, anything you want to hear, is gonna be on Instagram. After I check Instagram and I just see what's going on, then I usually get ready for school, look at social media, at other Instagram DJ stuff, and I basically have a regular morning and I eat breakfast and then I get on the bus. I usually chat with friends about the newest mix that just came out or like just what's going on in the Log Dog world. So that's a lot of fun. Once I arrive to school though, usually I'll just go to my classes and depending on what class it is, I'll have certain people who are big followers just come up to me and say, hey, Log Dog DJ, how's it going? And they'll ask me questions like, when's the next mix coming out? When's this gonna happen? When's that gonna happen? And I just answer questions and get through the school day. As I get home, usually what happens is I work on the next track that I'm working on, just to make sure that there's always a good amount of new tracks coming out, just to make sure that you guys, the fans, are happy, which is no problem for me. I love making tracks and I want to make them as much as possible. So usually I do that. Then I'll go downstairs, maybe scratch a bit, do any of that, hang out, eat, play video games, do homework here and there, and then eat dinner, shower, work more on my track that I'm usually working on. Now, this is where it gets kind of funky because depending on the track that I'm working on, usually what will happen is after I shower, I get something to eat, I go back up, and I get ready for bed, which is like I just clean up all my school stuff, put it in my bag. Usually, that's when nighttime becomes game time in the Log Dog DJ world. Because I'm so busy for so many days of the week and I have school junk to deal with, the only time where I actually am like finished with like homework that's due the next day or anything is during the night. So usually what'll happen is the night is when I have to work on my tracks. And that's where we will get into our next things that I enjoy and things that I don't enjoy. The good things to come are, first of all, talking to followers and fans. That's something that I love about being Log Dog DJ because everyone, the hardcore fans, the people that have always been there from the very beginning are so supportive and they're always so eager and they're always so curious to talk about when the next track is coming out, when this is happening, when the next YouTube video or something is happening. There are a lot of questions that I answer and a lot of them are really helpful and I love answering questions. It's one of my favorite things to do. Also, I love releasing tracks because when I make an original track, it's original. It's me. I created it, which means it sounds the exact way that I want. And when you hear your finished track for the first time, it's amazing. I love receiving feedback, receiving questions, and that's what I love to do. And then the biggest thing that I love to do is DJ. For the negative stuff now, there aren't many negative things, but they do exist. So the first thing is there's a lot of stress involved. There's always something that just seems to be in the back of my head just scratching, saying, oh Will, you need to finish the track. There's always just something that I'm thinking about which is always rubbing the back of my head. The next thing that I really don't like about DJing and being Log Dog DJ is the late night hours. Because I usually can only mix during the night, I sometimes end up pulling I've never pulled an all-nighter before, but depending on the track and how hard it is and how much I have to go off of and how strong my idea is, sometimes I find myself working pretty late, like 1 or 2 in the morning, and that's not late in itself, but the problem that I deal with is when you are literally like using all of your brain power to just like say, okay, does this work, no, that's in the wrong place, make that work. And when you're doing that for like 4 hours on end when you should be sleeping, it gets really tiring. But the problem is I can't go to sleep because I usually have a deadline. I put these deadlines on myself to make sure that they get done, because if I didn't have deadlines, nothing would ever get done, and this would probably just fall apart. So it's those deadlines that stress me out that really get the job done. So when you hear that awesome mix that you love, don't thank me, thank the deadlines that I set for myself. But really, I don't recommend that any of you like take the path that I have, because it's honestly a ton of work and it's honestly a lot of stress. But if you're ready for the stress and the responsibility and the hard work, it's really fun. It's a lot of fun. DJing is a lot of hard work, but if you work hard enough, it really pays off, and it becomes almost like a dream. That's what it became for me, um, and it's just a great life. It's not all fun and games, but it is really cool, and it's definitely a unique experience that I would definitely recommend to anybody willing to put in the time and also the money, because I don't think we can ignore that, because money is definitely a big part of DJing. You have to be willing to, cash out, just a few bucks depending on how big you want to become. And don't forget, you are the reason that I love doing what I do. You know, DJing is the main reason, but the fans are a huge part of that. And without the fans, I would not be where I am. I would not get up every day knowing very well that I am Log Dog DJs. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for all the support. It's great to know that people are out there for you, people are supporting you. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Please subscribe, leave a comment or two saying what you want to see next. Log Dog DJ signing off. Stay tuned for the next release on SoundCloud, the next post on Instagram, or the next video on YouTube. I will see you guys next time.